All right, the theme of this particular vignette is fun things to take on a picnic. In my opinion, right now, everybody needs to spend as much time outdoors in the sunlight and the air. So what I would do is I would consider some fun foods that your children might like. For instance, some of your children might like cucumber. So I would cut up some cucumbers. I have a little container here that I've recycled from some other time. I would consider maybe cheese, crackers. I happened to see in my pantry that I had some smoked oysters. I had some other things, some anchovies. I'm not sure where they're from, from when I got them. Maybe somebody gave them to me as a gift. I also have some things like this. I noticed I have different brands of tuna fish. That might be something to think about, some tuna fish sandwiches. Then in addition to that, I like blueberries, so I usually keep blueberries on hand. I also bought some of these the other day, and these are really great things to eat. I also have apples. Now, in addition to these items that I have, I also would encourage you to think about baking some apples. And this is a pretty easy thing to do. So what I did earlier, a little while ago, is I cut up some apples, and a very simple process, just cut up some apples, and I just in half, and these were, I washed them. I also took the insides of the apples out, and I took that and I put it in a little container because I will throw this into my garden. And then what I did is I took some butter and I put some cinnamon and some sugar together and just sprinkled it on here, made sure that there was plenty. And then I covered it so it wouldn't get too brown. I put it in the oven on about 300 for about 15-20 minutes. And then I checked it to be sure it was done. And so I just took a fork to make sure. So then now we have this wonderful treat. Now this is to me more like a dessert. It doesn't matter, but your kids probably will like it. You could have it for after dinner some night, or you could just have it as a snack in the afternoon. So it just wasn't very difficult to make. And now I have a very delicious treat here. Okay, so now some other things I want to point out is, okay, now let's maybe start another one. Okay. Let me move all this away. Since I am the daughter of chemists who were the children of farmers, my parents always had a big backyard garden, and they took everything, all the produce, all the things that they could find, and they would put them in the garden, and it would be sort of like compost. So I'm carrying on that tradition, and these are some things that recently, like yesterday, that I saved so that I can now put them in the garden. Now I'm going to go ahead this morning and I'll put them out in one of the areas where I'm making this, or maybe the rain comes and it's really the natural process of things. So I don't throw anything like this away. And this is where these extra apple things will go. And I am going to have very rich soil. So in addition to that, where I take everything I can, I take maybe even those little things that come with the toilet paper, the inside. I mean, once they're done, I can tear them up, let them be in there too, and they can become part of the compost. I am very careful. I don't want to put in dyes into the earth. Okay, so after all of that of always thinking about the soil, and I do have some soil that I'm noticing. There's even some wonderful earthworms. So what I'm going to do very soon is I'm going to take this container and I'm going to fill this with a little bit of soil. I'm going to put some seeds in it. Now, if I didn't have the eggshells, I could just go ahead and use the cartons and put a little bit of dirt all along here and plant some things to put in a garden. I could plant some herbs, I can plant some other things so that these can get started, and then I can plant them later. So these are things that you might want to do with your children, and they would just love, I believe, love to do this kind of thing. Okay, now let me just be